and welcome to Haunted Maple 112. I'm here this evening to read a couple of original stories that I wrote. First one is a short one. It's called Unseen. I stand within the tree line, unseen by living eyes. I am the rustling of leaves on a calm day, the crack of a branch when you are alone. Look over your shoulder, you won't see me. That unexpected breeze that swirls around you, no question, it's me. The white light in the distance that weaves among the forest is me. I feel your fear and the beat of your heart. Sweat begins to form on your brow. Your eyes search the surroundings. You stumble, then fall, covering your face in dirt. My footsteps creep closer. Your panic will rise. Where am I, my dear friend? Where am I? It doesn't matter who, just where. Do you have time to get up and run? Will you take the chance? The shadow behind that tree is me. I hide within the tree line, unseen by living eyes. You regret coming here alone. I feel the stillness of your body as your mind races. Which way is out? You're scared and confused. I've turned you around. I've chased you further into the woods. You're praying now to get out okay. I'm laughing at your discomfort. Do you remember me? I am that thing under your bed, the monster in your closet, the movement you can't explain. Run, run for home and never look back. I am in the tree line, to all living eyes unseen. I hope you like that one. Now this one is called Three Teens. The small cottage had been rented out for years before it was abandoned. It now stood empty, set back from the water's edge. In its day, much happiness had abided there. Vandals had broken in before it was secured by plywood. It was upsetting to see it in this state. Of course, now rumors circulated about it being haunted. The gentleman who boarded it up spoke of seeing shadows inside the day he arrived to do the work. He believed kids were in the cottage and he warned them to leave. When no one came out, he went in. Each room he entered was empty, but from the corner of his eye there was movement. He spent a couple of minutes chasing shadows of people who weren't there. Feeling unnerved, he quickly completed his task and left. A trio of teens had heard the rumors and decided to investigate for themselves. Not being able to enter the cottage, they circled the outside. It had snowed the day before, and their boot prints were the only ones there. Having experienced nothing, they left. They were now more comfortable and made plans to return. The day they returned, a snowstorm had been forecast. Walking into the site from their car took only minutes. As the time passed, the snow came down. It accumulated quickly. The three teams pried open plywood on a window to get inside for cover. They located the fireplace and wood beside it. Long matches sat in a brass container to the side on the wall. Seconds later, there was a flash, and the wood took to flame. Warmth began to fill the abandoned cottage. Inside, smoke billowed out the chimney. It wasn't long before the crunch of a footstep was heard. The three froze, knowing they were caught. They waited for the door to open or to see a foot come through their point of entry. Nothing. The crunching sound continued for 15 minutes. Then the sound stopped. In the morning, there were indentations in the deep snow, and no clue as to who had been the visitor. Word spread about the nighttime visitor. 2 days later, a pair of hikers found themselves in the middle of a large system that came out of nowhere. Spying the cottage, they entered through the teens' opening. They started a fire for warmth and settled in for the night. It was 2 a.m. when the sound began, the crunch of snow underfoot. The hikers sat still in the bed, waiting for the visitor to show themselves, but no one entered. In the morning, they found indentations in the snow as well. Hikers gaining entry to the cottage all had the same experiences. The teens decided to take their chances and venture back early one evening. Dressed warmly, they took a spot behind thick brush and waited. Nothing came. They talked about it on the way home. Each time the footsteps were heard, a fire had been lit in the fireplace. The following evening, they hid behind the same bush, only after setting a fire in the fireplace. It was also decided that one of the three would stay inside. The other two sat patiently waiting. After about an hour, the footsteps began. The teen inside alerted the two, giving a whispered play-by-play as to where the steps were heard. When the noise had reached where they could see, they sat stunned and panicked. The legend stood before them, touching the cottage walls. Would it gain entry this time? Terrified for their friend, they tried to stay calm. Through the walkie-talkie, they explained what they were seeing. Their friend inside felt no comfort in this at all. When the figure had moved out of their view, they implored their friend to move quickly and forget about the fireplace. The teen inside moved swiftly through the open end of the plywood and dashed over to them. It was only seconds before the legend reappeared from around the side of the cottage. The teen who'd be inside stifled a scream, placing a hand over the mouth. The mere thought of being so close to this creature nearly caused a fainting spell. The creature stood by the loosened plywood. It looked down, then turned its head in their direction. They moved not a muscle, unsure of the next few moments. This had been a stupid idea. Taking their phone out, one of the teens was going to film this. Another of the three brought their hand to the phone, pointing out the light of the screen may pull attention towards them. The last thing they wanted to happen. They watched as the creature peeked inside from the loose plywood. One leg at a time, it made its way inside. This was a chance to leave, but the teen stayed put. Moments later, the smoke from the chimney had ceased, and the legend exited the cottage. He stared in the direction, letting out a horrible sound before moving away. Turning to leave, the teens are face to face with its mate. How long had it been there? They do not know. There is now the story of 3 teens who went into the woods and were lost. It is said their spirits are seen at the cottage on snowy nights. Hikers spending the evening for rest have reported the sound of footsteps and laughter. What they don't know is that they live in eternity in another dimension that visits ours when the atmosphere is right. So if you're at the cottage on a stormy night, listen to the wind and hear the voices from the portal. But be careful, you don't join them. I hope you enjoyed those 2 stories for this evening. The other one, I believe, I will leave for another night. I will be getting back to telling you about some of the haunted locations here very soon. But until that time, thank you to my loyal listeners for coming by to hear tonight's 2 spooky stories. Anyone new, please check out the other videos I have here. You find anything that you like, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Share it out. That's greatly appreciated. While you're here, consider becoming a subscriber. And if you do, remember to click that notification bell. And as always, sleep tight.